Well, I appreciate everyone that's joining us here today, active Americans and those that are soon to be active Americans. We hear a lot and get tremendous feedback from active Americans across the country. And they're very concerned about the bailouts that Washington seems to be handing out like candy. And there's great concern where that money's going, who it's going to, and what the taxpayers' responsibility is to that. Well, a lot of their concerns are how did those businesses that are so critical to our national security get into the shape they're in today, and where that money's going specifically, not in general to a General Motors or to an AIG, which they may need the money, but what is that money being spent for? And how's it being spent, and who is overseeing the spending? Who's monitoring that? Where is the accountability is what we're hearing consistently. What active Americans want is that there are no more bailouts. If industry, if companies that are critical to our national security, do they need additional funding? And is that funding to come from the taxpayers? And if so, then that's okay. But let's do it as an investment, not as a bailout and not as a rescue, but as an investment. And in those investments, as any investment, as a Wall Street investment, there's a prospectus. There's a plan on how that money is going to be spent. And if it's taxpayer money that's going to be spent, then let's make sure that the taxpayer is a preferred shareholder, and that to build this out forward, that the taxpayer is the first one to get a return on their investment. And these are standard terms and language that Wall Street certainly understands, and I hope would agree with on any future investment of taxpayer money. I don't think we've reached a level of skepticism. I think it's just prudent business of where these bailouts are coming from and where that money is going to. We just want people to be accountable for that money. And we're suddenly getting word about companies that need a bailout. It seems that every 10 days, somebody needs a bailout. It started with AIG, then it moved over to the big three automakers, and now we're bailing out another large Wall Street firm in Citigroup. So, you know, what do we have to look forward to? What's the next big scare? And how are we going to handle that and process that in a business-like fashion? You know, it's a question that comes up with active Americans as the board of directors and the leadership, the executive suite. What decisions have they made to bring their companies to the brink of these hardships? And that's our greatest concern. And I think going forward in any prudent business, you would certainly look to the leadership in making a strong leadership change to be able to grow forward in the future, specifically when you're using taxpayer money.